Good morning, everyone. We have chill hop going on. Chill hop, chill hop, chill hop, chill hop, chill hop, chill hop, chill hop. Okay. All right. So the fixing of Daz Studio has been the topic of discussion. So now you're not. I mean, like, we've had those start credits for like 4 weeks now. That's funny. All right. So, I am trying to fix Daz Studio. We've gotten everything else squared away. Facebook crashed. So I'm trying, my first plan here is to fix Daz. One of the things that has me concerned, you can move YouTube, is I know that a few of the morphs that I use are not activated here. That is my general operationing feeling of all for all mankind. Hello, Bruna. Don. I'm doing all right. How are you? Coming in from Twitch. Whose Twitch are you coming in from? I don't know. I guess we'll find out. How are you? And are you joining us to draw today? You don't have to draw, by the way. Nobody has to draw. It seems like a good thing to do. So there you go. Wait. There we go. I'm Guy. At GS Davis Art. I am, so that's actually, later on we will have two more artists. I'm not sure when they'll be here, but Quasar Art Collective is a Colorado collective of artists that gets together. We picked Quasar Art Collective because it makes the word quack, which we thought was funny. And really, there's no other. Yes. As a matter of fact. But not the Guy Davis. See, and there's a reason why I go by GS Davis, because I'm not the Guy Davis that's working on Hellboy. He's out of Michigan. I'm out of Colorado. I'm a different artist. I'm a comic artist, but I'm not him. And it's actually kind of frustrating and sad because I know that there are a number of people who are like, "Oh, Guy Davis, that's so amazing." And I'm like, yeah, I'm not him. And I always feel so bad because I can tell right off the bat. I can tell already that that's where it's going to be. No, I'm a manga style artist. I do science fiction manga. Right now I'm doing a manga called Bellatrix Rising. And it's a comic that's Star Trek-esque, as in it's kind of like Orville did, which was I was doing a Star Trek fan comic for many, many years, and then my dad alerted me that I could not, in fact, make money off of it. So he's not wrong. So I instead went on ahead and started my own comic, and it's called Bellatrix Rising, and that's where we are. So yeah, so that's what's going on. But 2 days ago I had a hard drive problem, and so we are on the repairing all of the programs. I replaced my hard drive with an SSD per the recommendation of BC Cannon, that you can see down there on the line, because he's an IT fella. And he had actually given me a good lead on an SSD, so I replaced it, and I have I have, well, thank you. I have replaced it, and now I am doing the repairing of all of the systems, because I am very heavy on 3D work. My 3D work is a very big portion of my comic. Here, let me load the comic, because you can actually probably see the comic if I bring it up. But 3D, I use especially this program here called Daz Studio. I use it a lot for this benefit. Gotta admit, I'll show you. I'm in the middle of this guy. So here is my first comic for this. It's not my first comic. This is my first Bellatrix Rising comic. All right. Oh, apparently I cannot, in fact, make it huge like the other one. So, fine. So here is the comic that I'm working on now. It's it says 34 pages. It's not. It's a 32-page comic first comic of the series. And I could make it larger up until a minute ago, and now I can't. I don't know what the story is here. But that's not good. Hey, Brent. You know what I'm seeing? Do you see what I'm seeing, Brent? Are you familiar with, remember what we were at, page 16 and 17? Oh, thank you. I apologize. I just got bad news, it looks like, here. Hey, Pepper.
So glad I'm bad news.
It looks like OneDrive has made a decision for me, and it has decided that the artwork that was on the web precedes the artwork that's here on my local drive. So it just erased all the work I did at the beginning of the week, Monday and Tuesday. This page was done.
Sorry?
This page was completely done. Absolutely, completely done. This page was done. And now it's back to where it was before.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. I don't know. There's no way to tell OneDrive to prioritize. You can't tell it to prioritize your local drive. And like I said, because I was having so many read-write problems, I disabled OneDrive so it stopped synchronizing. And apparently what I did was make the choice for OneDrive to prioritize the web version, which is out of date. And so it prioritized that and overwrote. That's what it looks like happened. But this page was completed. And not only that, many pages were completed. I mean, like, page 11 was completed. Right here.
Yeah.
Page 11 was completed and it's uncompleted now. So it looks like it has undone all of my last week's worth of work. I don't know if I can recover it. I don't know if I'm going to go in there right now into the into the actual file and see if the individuals are correct.
Okay.
Oh, I see what the problem is. Okay, we may be okay. Hang on. So, at least it did the... Oh, Bruna, thank you. Actually, the mascots that are here were done by both Pepper and Can. We have to remember to call him Can because it's his online name.
Okay.
And Can. So and they're both pretty solid. I think we're good. And as far as Quasar Art Collective goes, it's cool. We don't really necessarily need that. But I appreciate it. I mean, I appreciate the offer. But between the five of us, and there's like five of us in this group that are routinely here, we usually seem to kind of limp along relatively well. So
That's what she said.
Okay, so now I see what the problem is. Looking at it here, they added it couldn't figure out which one's which, so yeah, and then renamed it. So I'm just going to delete the pages that don't say kitty or Kittywake.
That was weird.
That was weird.
And now you're back.
Am I back?
Yeah.
It does it. So the new thing that Restream's been doing, by the way, is when it hiccups for me now, it dumps me and then makes it so I can't join back in. So just so you're aware. No problem, man. Thank you. And thanks for the offer. I'll write your name down and see, if we ever get to the point, because I do believe that you should use the people who are specialized in fields. Got it. Don't show this reminder again. I get it. So if we ever have a need, then I will happily give you a holler. You're still frozen though.
I'm frozen?
Yeah, you're frozen from my side.
Weird. Let me try turning off my Wi-Fi. See if that helps.
Well, no. Don't turn off the Wi-Fi. Wait. This is me, not you. Don't do anything. I'm going to hit reload the page. It's going to erase everything. So hang on.
Hi, everyone.
There. Now you're unfrozen. Yeah, like I said, Restream's having a problem now. Whatever's their newest coding doodly-wop, when they changed the code on this last update, now whenever I freeze, it locks up my browser. So the only thing I can really do is hit refresh. So before you do anything, I should hit refresh just to make sure. Make sure it's my browser and not you.
Okay.
So, all right. This feels very dangerous to me. Like deleting a page and then removing. Okay, let's check everything. Man, that was terrifying. I was seriously worried that I had just lost week's worth of work. Well, a week's worth of work. Okay. Yeah, because I had like better spec actually doing talky stuff and tiki on the computer consoles and things. It really would have been unpleasant. Okay. All right. How you doing this morning, Pepper?
Yeah.
Indecisive.
Yeah, it's been interesting this week.
I'm gonna turn the music volume down so that we can hear you.
Yeah, no, it's been just an interesting week this week for me, so
I'm glad to have you back. We were actually talking about that last night, Brian and I. Can and I.
it's all good.
So we're glad to have you back. We're glad to have you back. So we've missed you lots. And it's Friday, which is good. Hey, except that I'm actually starting to kind of dread Fridays because I know that I have other things to do all weekend, and it means that I won't be able to get work done.
Well, it's a holiday weekend for Bill. I have to work through the weekend as well, so.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm out of practice of drawing raccoons, so.
We were joking about that. We were like, you and Colton and Raph are going to finally join back in, and you're going to realize you can't draw because you haven't drawn in so many days.
It's not that I haven't drawn with you guys. It's like I've been struggling because there's certain things that I used to draw all the time, and with the current position that I'm in, I don't get to draw for like freedom. I only get to draw when I'm like working, and drawing was like essentially what drawing was for me was it was like my therapy. It's where I would go to get like some peace and mind, and I haven't been able to do that.
I feel like I don't know. I mean, it's interesting because who I am as a person is naturally somewhat distrustful to companies. I mean, just by the nature of who I am. But I feel like as soon as we fix one problem, they find some creative way to make me grumpy at them again. Like, I don't know how in the world. I get it, and I totally understand. Like, watching how Lucasfilm and Marvel and all of them have to deal with the fact that one of their actors goes rogue and all of a sudden says something that's not seen in a very positive light by the company. And so I can see the whole, you're not allowed to make political statements thing, but I feel like that's kind of like a dictating your life
moment. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, once again, companies have managed to figure out a way to dictate people's lives. Whereas before, we had to put a law in place so that they'd stop making you work all the time. And then we had to make a law so that they'd give you some free time to be with a family. We had to make a law that they would pay you a reasonable amount of money. And now it's if you say the wrong political thing, we'll fire you instantly. And, especially us artists, getting work is so difficult.
Well, first of all, and I had a conversation with someone about this the other day as well. So this is not a new topic in my mind right now. So it's like one of those things of there is a huge disconnect for some, thinking that artists don't use their artwork for anything other than pretty pictures.
Right.
And we have some mutual friends right now who are going hard, really hard with their artwork and protesting and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, yeah, I can like it, but I can't actually sit there and say I like it. I can't repost it. Some of the stuff is really cool.
Yeah.
But
Zen Pencils has been out there doing a lot. I'm seeing a lot from Adam Ellis. I mean, there's a lot of things going on from artists that I follow and respect. And you can't repost it. But I mean, I have been also making that same choice, but I made that choice.
Mm-hmm.
I chose to be low impact on the universe when I did this. And that's the reason why I'm not making a statement yet. I'm actually thinking of making a statement about this situation. But I don't generally make political statements at all. I apparently leave my political statements to here on the show, which is not supposed to have politicals at all, apparently. But anyway.
Well, that's what you told me you wanted to stay away from on the show.
Right. And I keep doing it. And I'm like, Pepper, we can't do this. And you're like, yes, we can't do this. And I'm like, politics, Pepper, politics.
But you notice I'm not really saying anything. I'm just basically allowing you to rant, and I'm I'm not stopping you because it's
it's like we both get into it. Well, and Can and I get into it too. No politics, screams Brent. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that it's like, I don't know. Anyway, back to what I was working on. Now that my comic is not in fact destroyed utterly and stuff, and actually the scenes that were made are fine. So I'm going to go back to fixing the things. So now the thing is this. I can't tell. I mean, other than the butt fin, we still have a butt fin. But I feel like everything is correct here. What is this? So my maquette loaded, and it gave me a lot of errors for things that were broken.
Mm-hmm.
But she looks fine. So I'm trying to think, maybe I should just save her as she stands. I'm going to double check her surfaces, but I feel like she's doing fine. Oh, I made a mistake. That was an ominous noise. The Windows 11 error beep is somewhat ominous.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of before it was like badink, now it's this ooh. like, oh, what have you done? Not NVIDIA. We always use 3D light. Yep, optimize it. You guys. Legitimately, she doesn't look bad. Why is the torso a different color? What the heck's going on with her, though? It's all templates, template one. No. That's one. You know what? She doesn't need that. She needs you. Template 3, template 4, template 5, 6, 7. Okay, and her parameters are clear. Okay. I mean, it's fine. I just don't. There. She matches. All of her colors match. Everything looks fine. I don't think I'm going to have a problem with her. No, she looks fine. She's rendering okay. Okay. I don't know. There was just a lot of errors when it came up. And so I'm not 100% sure what it was erroring out on. But she looks like she's rendering fine. And I think the only thing I'm noticing is the size of her chest is slightly weird. Like, I think maybe one of the morphs I used was on her chest, because I've got a lot of rib cage going to either side, which I usually flatten out with her. But I'll just manually flatten that out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, then I don't know what the story was with that or why. But I will resave her. I don't know. I feel like that's a lot of... Let's see if I can't pull her lats out. See if I can't crash it trying to click on shaping. Legit may have crashed it. Okay, well, that's a thing. Come back here, Max. It's fine. We all love you. A ring.
That would be my email.
So, what cool things did you eat while you were traveling about? I travel the world on my stomach, so I have decided that this is a new thing for me.
So I brought, well, it's not exactly like what I ate while I was there, because I pretty much ate like pretty standard food,
Southern food,
like southern food. But the place that we went to, there's only a really small population. I want to say this right up front.
fried gator.
There's a small population of Asian people in that area,
Ooh.
and they happen to only run the restaurant, and that's their business. And so so the first night there, we went and we got the local Chinese food, / Japanese food. And it was interesting because it was the first time going back there that they actually had low glycemic meals. So I was like, okay, cool. I'll take one of those. And all my other family were like deep fried this and that, and like my cousin was with us, and she was like, "Oh, I totally would have done we totally should have just gone." And because they had the live cooking hibachi as an option.
That's fair. That's fair.
But like I said, this is like a really small place.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. There's not like you pretty much want to cook the entire time you're there because most of the restaurants are either they're chain restaurants or they are mom and pops, like super southern but unhealthy, like southern food. No one in my family will eat the most unhealthiest part of it, but we do get barbecue. So, but on the way back, we actually stopped at this one place that we thought would actually be really good because there was a lot of people lined up for it. And it was just like, it was terrible. That was terrible. But I did bring back Southern Chow Chow. I brought back strawberry jalapeno jam from the Carolinas. Bill brought back cheese curds that were made in North Carolina from Ashco Cheese Company. And let's see, what else did I bring back?
South Carolina barbecue. So South Carolina barbecue is sweet, yeah?
No, North Carolina barbecue. It's vinegary.
See, to me, vinegary barbecue is the way it should be.
Yeah, it's Carolina.
I don't mind sweet barbecue, but for me, barbecue has always been vinegary. And
no, it's North Carolina. It's more of like vinegar. It's not sweet at all. There's sugar in it, but like
not a lot.
Not a lot. No. Like you wouldn't expect like I think someone like we went out to eat and I think one of the people that was with us were like, this is not what I was expecting it to taste like, and like a family member just like looked over and was like, what do you expect? This is North Carolina. This is vinegar. Like what?
Well, and I think that I used to think that Texas barbecue was vinegar and not sugar, but I guess it must be Tex-Mex. Mm-hmm. And my family just always went to Tex-Mex instead of going to normal Texas barbecue because a lot of people I've run into are like, no, Texas barbecue is sweet. And I'm like, I didn't grow up on sweet barbecue.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up on very vinegary barbecue. And it's very interesting because I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I am really having a problem here. Like, I am not getting response from Daz at all. I am concerned. Yeah. See, we're crashing. Why are we crashing? This is a clean install. Why are we crashing?
Yeah.
This is part of why this frustrates me to reinstall is because Daz is such a freaking finicky little program, and it's so cranky, and it's so aggravated, and everything. And if you screw it up, which apparently I have now done, it just crashes. So I think we've lost Daz, and I'm gonna have to start all over again.
Mm-hmm.
We may have Daz up and running by the end of the day today, or it might be into next week before we get this running. Sorry, I'm not trying to gripe, but I feel like we've lost control of Daz.
I'm just picturing every single time you say Daz, like, because I have actually met a person
named
By
Daz.
that name, Daz. I'm just like picturing this person like we've lost Daz, and like by this person that I know from college. Like literally, when we said we lost him, we usually would find him with no clothes on.
That's a weird thing.
Yeah, so I'm
Although, I guess
picturing
that's a
Peter
stretch.
as a naked body running down I-25.
Right? Probably not one of the top tens.
Yeah.
Okay. It's funny. I had said that the reason I don't do this is because I have to always do these like repairs and stuff. But the actual truth is, it really does cause so much stupid trouble. And it's always something dumb like this instance. It's okay. So I installed a body to Daz at one point in time because I thought it was cool. It looked nice. And somehow it installed itself as default 100% for every figure that I ever load. And that's the one that I think is crashing because it can't find that morph. And though I don't have a problem with it, the morph wasn't bad or anything. It installed itself at 100%. I don't need that morph for everything.
Yeah.
So it's aggravating because part of our problem here. Okay, here we go. One more time. And of course, I forgot all my settings. It forgot everything, including this. Now I got it. Okay. Here we go. Oh no, look at all these things that are missing. Maybe I should just go find them. There's only 4 of them. But it doesn't ask me to go and get them. Okay, hang on. Let's just fix this problem. I'll just move these specific ones over to the right spot. I wish it'd give me more of the... That's not a lot of... And I actually have been seriously considering not using Daz, except that they don't let you adjust or fix the maquettes in Clip Studio. They are fixed.
Yeah.
So, okay, that's what I was thinking. So I can't use Daz Studios maquettes, or rather I can, but I can't do the cool things that I've been doing, like making sure that all the freckles are correct.
Mm-hmm.
This wouldn't be a problem, I guess. But, I'd have to redraw the uniform and everything. Okay, so that's not where it is. Daz, of course, also scatters itself all over the place. So that's the second graphic artist to drop in on our stream and say, "Hey, if you need any graphic arts work," which I find that to be an interesting and kind of clever way of looking for work.
I also like when I've gotten those messages before. I also kind of I know this may sound mean, but in a way, like for some of the things that have been sent regarding that, kind of make it seem like it's an insult to me. Not everyone. Like
Right.
the one that you got, it was very respectful, and
Yeah, very lovely.
enjoyed that. I enjoyed that type of. I enjoy that.
Yeah.
But like some people are like, hey, your graphics suck. How
Right.
can you help? And how about you get my help? And I'm like, I'm a
Not
graphic
starting that way.
and this is a social media page that I don't care if I attract people or not. If they follow me, they follow me. If they don't, they don't. That's their decision. I don't need help to attract people. The right people will always be attracted. So, um, but like when they are respectful, I do appreciate it because it just makes me, trust certain people a little bit more.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I just think that's clever. I think it's a clever way of doing work. I mean, that's. And I agree. If they started out by saying everything here sucked, I'd be like, well, okay, but we don't need followers. That's not what we're after. We're here to help other artists draw. So let's keep us all working and give Brent entertainment, I think, is our other job. We're a Brent entertainment system. So, because I think Brent likes the show genuinely. I've come to this conclusion. He's not just here because he feels some sense of responsibility. See, I'm getting better with my imposter syndrome. I think I've grown. You are entertained, very entertained. Dust. Making sure that the Thunder Child is cleaned up pretty good. It's a pretty ship. I always love the Thunder Child as far as the ship goes. Also fascinating because the Thunder Child, you're responsible for your sleep. The Thunder Child is a through deck carrier. I was looking at her deck plans, and that's kind of cool.
Deck plans
of the Akira class. Yeah, it's a through deck carrier, which means that it has effectively a hole that goes from the front of the ship to the back of the ship, where they put fighters or shuttles or whatever, so that it can launch them out the front and recover them out through the back, and then when they come in the back, they just get reserviced and pushed out the front again, so that it's like an aircraft carrier.
Gotcha.
But I thought that was kind of cool too, because that means that if I were to do a story on a Akira class, you'd have pilots, you'd have like a bunch of Top Gun-esque pilots all of a sudden in there. That's the thing. Brent's like, I'm responsible for my sleep, and my eyes are slightly blurry because of not sleeping very well. And I read that I am responsible for my sheep, and I was like, yep, we are Brent's sheep. It was actually kind of funny. I was like, that fits. I am doing a search right now for one of those morphs. If you're wondering what I'm doing.
I'm trying to figure out some ideas. And I think I got one. I just, yeah. I'm trying to. I'm trying to fit um, the design aesthetic that I need now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so
I should have done this in the first place, and I didn't. Now I'm regretting it. You can set. You can make your own morph
mm-hmm,
in Daz Studio, so it's just one slider.
mm-hmm.
Brent is saying that he's had an idea to convert a school bus. And the reason I'm giving the weird look is I feel like we've had this discussion. It's like deja vu. Having a deja vu moment. Because I have always dreamed about buying a school bus and then, oh, gotcha. Okay, good. So we did have this discussion. I didn't dream it. So I had a dream a few months ago or something about an incident, and it happened, but I wasn't 100% sure if the dream was accurate, and I wasn't 100% sure that, you know what I mean? Like, but I really did have like a moment of deja vu that I swear I had dreamt that this, whatever it was. So since then, I've been doing the, wait a minute, did I dream this? You know, whenever I have deja vu, I'm like, so, okay, good. So Brent is bringing up that he has an idea of taking a school bus and turning it into a
residence.
And yeah, into a like a RV, and then traveling the U.S. Oh, he's found one. That's kind of cool. Legit, you found one.
Mm-hmm. There's a few of them in my area that are for sale. So
Cool.
Brent, get with Bill and see if there is any opening, because like that might be that. I don't know if it's possible. Bill, do you want to come message
Messages.
Bill? Messages from Bill.
Howdy ho.
Hello.
So, okay. So Brent is wanting to make a mobile home out of a bus,
Mm-hmm.
and he said like he needs a job like yours in order to travel while working from at home.
Mm-hmm.
And just wondering if he needs the certifications to work with your company.
I mean, certifications will always help, but they're more concerned about total experience. I would just check the website, techstuff.com, and there should be a jobs page. If there's anything you want, just contact me. But don't apply to it without contacting me first.
Got that, Brent?
I mean, you can apply to it. It's just fine. I can't help if you apply to it on your. And I can also see your resume and I can let you know and say if you get it back.
He said he got it.
Right? Is that all you needed me for?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we dismiss Bill now? That's all right, Bill. I will see you tomorrow, man.
All right.
We'll go
Sounds
get
good.
lunch or something. We'll do lunch. We'll hang. Give a cue.
All
See
right.
you guys.
Bye, Bill.
Bye, Bill.
Bye.
Well, I'm getting some hits over here. That's good. Yeah, if you need to change jobs, getting your CV up to date is good. I think it's CSV is. This eBay person has all of these.
Every single time I hear a resume referred to as a CV, the first time the abbreviations of CV have been taught to me was for crime victim. So, like, I have some really weird associations when people say I have my CV and
Right.
stuff like that. Like, it's a resume to me. That's why my brain basically makes it seem like people are now claiming that they are victims of crimes. I know it doesn't mean that now, but like when I first started hearing it,
Yeah, I'm with you.
It was weird.
That is weird. So yesterday, I got 2 boosters of Magic cards that were from the Kamigawa set, except they were in Japanese.
Yeah.
And so now I'm kind of obsessed with the idea of getting Japanese Kamigawa cards.
Okay.
Because they're pretty cool.
I know. There was a person that I had to do a sketch card for that they wanted me to do the cards that you're speaking of. They wanted me to do an art card based off of Lillian from those cards, and it came out really good. I liked it. It was in my style, not in the style of theirs, but I still use watercolor, so there's a commonality. But the aesthetic and overall was definitely inspired by them. That's for sure.
But Brent, it's $24,000. However, I have to admit that is pretty cool. You just sent me a link to a double-decker activity bus. Oh, it's already decked out. That's why.
Yeah. Well, it's already been rehabbed. Like, of course, it's gonna.
No, I like the fact that upstairs is still like the way it used to be. Like, so the upper deck on this is like the old version of the bus, so it has seats, but the lower deck is like all couches and stuff. So you can hang out in the lower deck and, like, you know, it's got party lights and stuff like that, but the upper deck is like 62,000 seats. I'm like, why didn't you just let the upper deck be the upper deck? Like, why'd you do that? It's very funny. Anyway, yeah, CSV is a format that we use for transferring data. Specifically, it's comma-separated variables. CV is a Circa Verte. It's the French word for resume. Which happens to be the word that I think the world uses. And of course, America being Americans, we continue to use resume because we don't want to do what the rest of the world does. For no reason whatsoever, we're just that way. It's who we are. Leave us alone. In fact, I didn't even know the word CV until I was in Japan, and a buddy of mine who's Belgian was updating her CV, and she was talking to me. She's like, I've got to update my CV, and da-da-da. And I'm like, what the heck are you talking about? And she's like, oh, what do you Americans call it? Resume, right? Resume? And I'm like, oh, okay, now what you're talking about. I know. That was when I learned that the world calls it a CV and America calls it a resume. Everybody calls it that, but yeah.
Well, actually, I went to an international college, so I was taught right away, like, the word CV.
Right. I wasn't.
There. Because, like, they honestly, like, everyone around me was referring to them as CVs. But I went to school with a lot of people who were on student visas, and so they had to rely on their parents to send them money and stuff. They're not allowed to work, um, and since it was a year-round school, like every single student had to be in classes. If they took a semester off, they had to go back home.
Right.
And then they had to run the risk of losing their student visa. So, like, for a lot of us, like, for a lot of the Americans, we were like, where are you guys going for this holiday? And they're like, oh, we're not really going. We're just going to hang out here. So some people would, like, be like, hey, you want to just come to my house over the break for, like, for this holiday that's American only or something like that. And that's usually what ended up happening. So I did it once.
Right.
Yeah, my family thought I was actually dating her, and I was like, "You do realize I'm not, right?"
Right. You know that's not happening, right?
Yeah, like we don't have any physical attraction towards one another.
You know, I think if anything that's fascinating, that's really good about, I mean, I know we're all kind of in the sort of the thick of LGBT and stuff like that, but one of the things that I think is fascinating that's coming from that core is that we're breaking up some of the beliefs that are in there. Like we've got these societal beliefs that if a male and a female hang out together, they are naturally having sex. Right? Like it's like a core belief system. And that was something that irritated me as a kid because some of my best friends were female and I had no interest in sleeping with them at all. Now, there were some of my friends that were female that I did have interest in sleeping with, but not
sleeping in, huh?
Sleeping in.
That's what they call it these days.
Is totally a tauntaun moment. I'm just saying. Just saying. Anyway, wow, that went dark fast. That went whoa. That went left.
Well, let me reiterate. I had a conversation prior to coming onto the show explaining to Bill about Harajuku girls.
About what?
Harajuku.
Oh yeah.
Like, I had classmates who were Harajuku girls, and that's how I found out about the culture. And one of them, like, straight up said, like, in like one of the student things, like, she straight up said, like, yeah, I didn't realize I was doing prostitution. Like, so she would get her supplies paid for by the men that would come to the district.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Isn't that weird? That's like the strangest. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I have often thought. So we have been waiting for about, I don't know. It's been easily about 15 or 16 minutes now that I've been waiting for this search on eDrive to finish doing its search. And I have noticed some interesting things that seems very consistent. For example, no matter what happens, I seem to always, when I run a search, if I'm looking for, let's say I'm looking for xyz.doc, a doc file, right? So I'll type in xyz.doc and it will search the entire hard drive. And you will see it'll pull up like, xab.doc in about 5 minutes. But at the 15-minute mark, when the bar has gone all the way across, and it's at the very end, the last thing it does is bring up xyz.doc and then stop searching. So and this seems to be consistent. Like every time I look for a thing, it literally like knows that I'm looking for a thing and then waits to tell me until it searches every corner. And then it throws it at me. I mean, it's like so weird. This happens a lot. And I'm wondering whether this is just one of those perceptions because it happens enough times that it freaks me out or whatever. But it's like that happens routinely. And it's very weird that seems to occur a lot. I mean, like, I don't know I don't know how to deal with that.
One day at a time?
It just seems like it does that routinely. Like, it always searches, and the thing I'm looking for is the literal last thing it does before it finishes the search. It doesn't matter what I'm looking for. It's never the first thing it finds. It's always the literal last thing that I'm looking for. It's so weird. E-3D. Guys, runtime. People. Genesis 2 female. That's all morphs. Genesis 2. Oh, it's Genesis 2, that's why. Okay. That's 3D. Oh. Because it's not the same one. Gotcha. There it is. That's what we're looking for, right there. That's 3D. Back up. Guys, 3D. Okay. E:// daz 3D. Okay. Guys, daz 3D runtime. Guys, daz for 3D runtime. Data. Daz 3D. Daz 3D. Genesis 8. Genesis 8? No, Genesis 2. That's where we're here. Genesis 2. Female. Morphs. Okay, all I really need to do is just copy this entire directory over, and that should fix this problem.
Alrighty.
In theory. I mean, we hope.
Yes.
A new window. Local disk. Daz 3D. Applications. Data. Daz 3D. My Daz 3D library. People. Why do we not have a freaking Daz now? You know what? People make me mad. Data. Applications. This should be in a runtime. See, the problem is it won't let me look for it. And now I can't actually click on it without freaking out the morphs because that's what crashed it before.
Mm-hmm.
It needs those morphs. So let's add my other runtime because I don't need this. So you know some things exist, but you don't know others? What the heck is going on? You've done this before to me.
No, I haven't.
Get very confused about some of this stuff. Okay. Projection templates. I don't know what that means. Tools. Sets. Works. That's all I need, right? Oh, we got somebody else in here now. I've got all my screens covered with things, so I can't. See, we got another person. Some user. We have some user in here. Hi, some user. Welcome to the show. Sorry for not talking to you.
Hi, some user.
Yeah, so you're Googling us, both of us couldn't find the stream. So in other words, you're saying we should.
Well, QaC. Yeah, I did actually think about that.
Well, we are. So one of the problems we've got is that we have a limited number of streams we can put out. However, I do think that if you were to check my streams, you're right. I know at least my social media does not talk about this stream. That's not a bad point.
Yeah.
So, and I appreciate that, some user. I appreciate it quite a bit because I feel like I'm not doing very interesting things right now because I just had to replace my C drive. And so that's what we're talking about here is I had to replace my primary drive and now I'm reinstalling everything to get everything back up to drawing speed so that I can draw and get back to streaming like usual, which is usually you'd be watching me do my comics and draw. Sadly, I can't do that. But I think that's a valid point that some user is bringing up. I like some user, by the way. It's just a great name. And you're coming in from
Looks like YouTube.
a bunch of art schools? When you
Yeah,
start
QaC is an abbreviation for some art schools, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that actually. I wish I had. When we brought it up, I should have looked up Quasar Art Collective and what QaC would have come up with. Hey, but at least it's an art school. It could have been far, far worse. I'm noticing that sometimes the letter Q brings up sort of extremist groups. So I'm kind of glad that I didn't think about that either, and I'm glad that's not what comes.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
we're not an extremist group. We're a bunch of artists.
Yeah.
We're innocent. We don't do anything. We're artists. We barely get our work done. Maybe we should follow Quack more. No. Yeah, that's awesome, man. Thank you so much. Actually, I really do appreciate it. We've been streaming for a long time under my banner, and recently I felt like it was kind of unfair to say that this was my show and Pepper was joining my. It didn't seem like that was, because I feel like we all kind of pull our own weight, and so.
Well, originally the way that the show was originally set up was I was supposed to take 1 week, you were supposed to take another week.
Right, exactly.
And then we just switched over to yours because you found a way to do all the streaming stuff a lot easier.
Exactly.
That's on how that evolved.
And it was sort of because I had paid for the streaming service.
Mm-hmm.
Then it was sort of my show, but I didn't want it to be that way, and I am totally willing to donate the money for the streaming service for us to use it together as a group. So, because actually we are broadcasting now on Kane's streams too. He's added a couple of his streams, like he's added his Picardo stream to it, and he's got his Picardo stream and his. Why is that offline? That's interesting. Yeah. So anyway, he's got one stream that's offline. I'm not sure why. But yeah.
He's probably taking a much needed break today.
Oh, no. He's got, as in it says one stream is turned off. I'm not sure why that one stream is turned off. I think we might have to start pooling money at some point in time. And if this gets more popular and we get more views and we enjoy it more or whatever, we can pool money. But the next level up allows us to have more admins. Mm-hmm. Right now, we can only have 2 admins, Can and myself. Who can start streams, end streams, add destinations, yada, yada, yada. There's only 2 of us, but it doesn't allow more. And
okay.
And feel free to participate. Well, obviously not join the artwork, or join the stream, because that's kind of complicated. But you can sit there every morning right now. Every weekday morning, we are broadcasting from 9 to... Yeah, there we go. 9 to 11 Mountain Time. And then we, most of us broadcast again at night from 10 p.m. to midnight Mountain Time. Not all of us join at the same time, but we try to do 2 streams a day if we can. And part of the reason that I went on ahead and had Brian become an alternate administrator is because that way he can run the streams when I'm working. Because for the summer, I'm doing a summer job as a teacher. And so I'm in the classroom during the day, obviously. But I'm only 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. And so because of that, I'm like, I'll still broadcast on the days when I'm not in the classroom. So yeah, join us, and you can bring up topics over here and talk to us while you're drawing, and you can ask questions. And we will actually help you, even though right now it doesn't look like it. But honest to goodness, we can help you if you need help. or just want somebody to keep you company. So join us. It's fun. And right
Not
now,
in a join us way, please.
Yes, definitely in a join us way. What?
Sit right here on the couch.
I will actually, real quickly though, I will show you what I normally work on. Because I am right now fixing Dad's studio, which is an issue child. But I can show you my comic at least. Pepper is right now working on something with an NDA, so Pepper can't actually show you.
Yeah, I'm just here for moral support at the moment.
All good.
I have about 10 assignments I'm working on simultaneously under this MNDA, so
which is totally fine. Sometimes we We have NDAs that we got to work on. So this is my comic that I'm working on right now, and I will actually high screen mine so that no, other way. Vroom. Make Pepper small because Pepper's just drawing.
I don't need someone else to do that for me. Thank you.
Okay, that was good.
I do it myself.
That was good. That was good. So yeah, this is the comic I'm working on right now. I use a mix of 2D drawing and 3D to do my pages. They look kind of like this. So yeah, I use, like, as you can see, like the model here is, this is a 3D model with a hand-drawn hands and everything like that. And then the spaceship is all 3D rendered. And I use DAZ Studio for the 3D rendering, which is the reason why I'm repairing DAZ Studio right now, because I just reinstalled everything. And DAZ Studio is freaking out about missing morphs. So I am right now trying to get DAZ Studio to stabilize and give me back my controls with my morphs. So that's a thing. So that's where we are. And I'm wondering whether I should just, because this is my DAZ 3D library, and I wonder if I should just merge my 3D library with the original 3D library that was over here, and then maybe it'll load fine. I don't know. That's where I am. So anyway, welcome to the show, and feel free to ask questions, and I continue looking at things and going, what the heck is going on with this? And I'm trying to figure out. So one of the reasons I hate reinstalling everything is because when I do, invariably this is what occurs. DAZ gets tangled up, and then I have to go manually move stuff over. And then otherwise it just crashes. And that's what's happening right now. It's crashing because my maquettes, which are the models that I use for the comic, require 4 specific morphs that are right now missing. I can see them on the old hard drive, and now I just need to figure out how to plug them into the new hard drive so that they will operate in the same manner. And that's where we are right now. So, if I go into, this seems like it, so the thing that bothers me is that this doesn't look like the same rig, right? Because it says my 3D library. And if I go into data, and then, so what got you into art, Pepper?
Trauma. No, I was a small child, and I'm on spectrum, and so when I was a kid, like, basically I would just do coloring books, crayons, but like I used to walk around with stuff to draw on nonstop, even as a small child. So like, put a crayon in my hand and I was happy type deal. So I guess like I don't know, I innately had gravitated towards it since I was a kid. Okay. As I grew up, I stopped, and then I started again, stopped, and everything. I did go to school for it because one of the people that I idolized at the time went to a school with a similar program that I got into. So I was like, oh, okay, so let me just try to follow like in the footsteps of that deal. In which case I realized like that field was not the one that I wanted to go into at all after that. There's one thing to follow your inspirations, but it's another to actually do what they did and then realize maybe there's a different way and they're supposed to be an inspiration for a reason. But other than that, like I've been doing art professionally without any other side jobs for only a few years, and but a grand total of almost 20. So there you go. Um, yeah, but I mean, I don't know how else to describe how I got into art. How did you get into art, guy?
So I got into art. Here, I'll flip us. I got into art. Originally, it's funny you were saying Spectrum, and I was thinking that I was like, yeah, Spectrum has a lot to do with that. But yeah, I've been drawing and doodling in the margins of all of my schoolwork all of my life. But really, what kind of cemented it for me was when I realized that my interest in the universe is to be a storyteller. And it doesn't matter what the story is. I mean, I enjoy telling stories, or retelling Pepper's stories, or whatever. You know what I mean? I just enjoy the process of storytelling. I feel like that's a piece of humanity that we all have. And so I love telling stories. And I really realized early on the influence a story could have on a person's life. And I value that. Like, I really value that. So what got me into the art itself was, of course, just watching a lot of anime in the early 90s and the late 1980s. I was into anime long before it was a thing and before it was the culture here. And so I was really interested in that. And that was the art I liked. But now I have merged it with storytelling, and I really like the ability to convey a story just because I think that that's so cool. And if I love the feeling that I get when I read a story, like when it makes me emotionally moved in one way. And I hope to do that to other people. You know what I mean? Like, I want to make other people feel that way. And it's any emotion. Like, I like this page that I'm working on right now, that, this one right here, I feel like is very emotional and like cool, where the ship just like pops out of warp and it's like zoom, and you're like, yeah, or whatever. And I feel many people do feel like that's the golden age of anime. I don't know.
I want to point out late 80s, early 90s anime in the United States was literally the early 80s in mid to late 80s anime in Japan. Like, it was like kind of like 10 or under. There was a few year age gap between it coming to America and before it actually like was on air in Japan.
What?
There are a few animes that like it took 10 years to come to the United States during that time.
Oh yeah, well, so that era is interesting.
Yeah, it's also the most edited era too.
Right. Well, and we were talking before about how I felt like these social movements have really nice things that go to it as well. I mean, a lot of people gripe about social movements, but one of the things that happened with anime was, prior to anime, it was normal for us to take a foreign object, a film or a TV series, and redub it, re-edit it, change all of the story, change everything, change the characters' names. That was normal.
Mm-hmm.
That was status quo.
Mm-hmm.
And then we started realizing with like Robotech and with Sailor Moon and things like that, that the original, what the original intent was much, much cooler.
Yeah.
So we started pushing them to stop doing that.
Well, with Sailor Moon, like the names were like they didn't go too far with some of the names. Like Ray was still Ray, Amy was still Amy.
Right.
They still called Manako Mina, but they changed like Naru, Makoto, and Usagi's names straight up.
Yeah, but they called Usagi Bunny, which is what
Yeah.
Usagi.
Well, I mean, Usagi is translated into rabbit, so
Yeah, it's a bunny, so that made sense.
yeah.
I was okay with that. That made some sense.
Like
Because-
her nickname, Meatball Head, is not necessarily the same one.
Mhm.
And
Dango is ball.
yeah, no, she was just supposed to be called like Bunhead.
Yeah, bunhead.
Yeah,
It's just that buns usually mean butt in America, and so
Yeah.
they decided to. It's like fanny pack. Fanny pack does not translate well to British English.
yeah,
In British English, that means the crotch.
yeah. But it was like one of those things of like I think the only two Sailor Scouts when they translated it to English from Japanese that kept their original names was Setsuna and Hotaro. And Hotaro. Sorry, what's Hotaro? Those are the only two.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call it retro. That was my childhood.
Wait. I gotta bring up. It always is.
Yeah, you're right. Retro is what it's classified now. Yep, exactly. I'm just like I'm having fun with like all the new stuff that they're doing with Captain Harlock and
Seeing as how I brought up the Arcadia, you're like, now we have to mention the Arlock.
well, have you seen some of the new stuff that they've done with that or no?
Harlock? Yeah.
Yeah.
I even have, as is cool because I'm such a Harlock nut, I even have the alternate color version of the Arcadia.
Yeah.
I'm a Harlock fan. I mean, so I am a spaceship dude. I love spaceships.
Yeah.
So, of course, I have my little collection of spaceships over here, which is all kinds of spaceships. I actually have quite a collection. In fact, I even have things like, here's the Battlestar Galactica.
Mm-hmm.
And because, you can't just have the Battlestar Galactica, I also have the Battlestar Pegasus. And it's really hard to see. The only way you can tell is that you can actually read on the launch bays. It says Galactica, and this one says Pegasus. But that's all right. Anyway, I also, of course, because I love all of these things, I have Eagles, because I carry Eagles around from Space 1999. And I mean, I do, just so that Brent doesn't feel left out, I do have quite a collection, an extensive collection of Star Wars ships.
Yeah, but we can deal without those.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. It's fine. But yeah, I mean, the modern stuff, why are we not equal? We should be equal. There, like that. Thank you. The modern stuff is not bad. Yeah, I love my mini ships. They make me so happy. It's like, but I even have like the Playmate stuff up there is not bad either, and that's not mini. Those are pretty big. I think one of my Enterprise Bs is pressing on the other Enterprise B. Stop doing that. There we go. Anyway. Gunsmith Cats! Oh, man.
Dude, Gunsmith Cats, like that's... I want to say, like, anime-wise, that was, like, the first one that, like, everyone's like, I can't wait until Toonami tries to put that on the
Oh,
TV.
yeah.
And I looked at them, like, you do realize that Gunsmith Cats has way too much. They would not be able to do it.
Yeah, Cats never...
Yeah, there's a spin-off called Bean Bandit, which is also good, some user. I would look that one up. If you like Gunsmith Cats, you'll like you'll like Bean Bandit because
It's called Writing Bean. If you're looking for it in Japanese, it's called Writing Bean. In English, they call it Bean Bandit.
Yeah, Bean Bandit, and it's with a character from Gunsmith Cats called
Yep.
Bean.
Bean,
So
who was a Gunsmith Cat's GSC character.
yeah,
So,
um,
but
yeah,
the artist behind that is, hang on real quick, because the Kenichi Sonoda also did Bubblegum Crisis, was the character designer behind Bubblegum Crisis, which was one of my top favorites. Yep. And this is one of my prize collection things. This is actually a background from AD Police Files. And it sits right above my computer because it's one of those things that I managed to get my hands on once. And I don't actually want to accidentally lose it. It is a prized. Oh, nah, it's all good. You're having fun. It's fine. This is actually kind of cool because all I'm doing over here is transferring files over from my old C drive to my new C drive so that Daz will stop freaking out and melting down. So I'm not doing anything. So I'd rather talk about this. I'd much rather talk about this. Because that's all I'm doing here is transferring crap. So that's all.
yeah.
So anyway, yeah, that's one of those things that's really, really cool is I loved all of those things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to make a new folder and call this. So all of us. Hang on real quick.
One of us. No.
One of us. I actually am buddies with a number of people who worked in the industry back in the late 80s, early 90s. And so I have a certain amount of nostalgia for the whole era. And that was what my degree was in. I actually went to college, and it's a useless degree now, but that's a different story. I went to college and got an animation degree. So my degree is actually in animation, specializing in 2D. So like the old classic painting cells and stuff like that. And that's something that I actually do with my comics over here, is I have been recently making cells, which I sell. I don't think any of them are up here though, because they're all downstairs. I can't show you. Well, maybe I can, because I think I have some like screwed up ones over here. Maybe not. I have already fixed the problem. Still waiting for things to copy, by the way. You're not interrupting anything. Yeah. Here are some practices that I've been working on and doing. They do stick together, though. Well, that's not good. But one of the things that I have been doing is cell work. These are experiments, so these are not actual things, but I do cells now. And I actually make them like, I can see through them. So these are of course practice, so they're not solid. But you know, it occurs to me, I could probably do commission work on things even like that, you know, if I were thinking about it. But anyway, that's stuff that I do now. Is I now do cells, and I sell those at conventions. So, oh hey, Alex gave me this. I wonder if I could use it. Why is this not controlling? Why is this not controlling? I don't know. So my buddy gave me this beautiful frame that's transparent, but he's not using it because it doesn't match his decor. So he gave it to me, and he was like, "Can you use it?" And I'm like, "Yeah. I mean, I can put cell stuff in it, and that would be actually really cool because if you put a cell in here, you'll see through it." So, I wonder if I could use that for that up there. I have a handful of actual cells that come from Artmic from back in the day, like that backdrop up there. They come from Artmic, AIC, and so I have a handful of them that would be kind of fun to do. So. Yeah, the old cell machines, especially when they used the mimeograph machines to do the original cells. But that's the thing. I was talking to thoughts ought to be expensive. Oh, those ought to be expensive. The frames? Oh no, the cells that I have from Artmic, yeah. They're difficult to get a hold of now. Cells are really, really hard to get a hold of. And frankly, nobody wants to do them anymore or collect them as much. So they're getting rarer and weirder. It's really strange. Yeah, the Artmic ones, the AIC, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've got them locked away for that very reason, so that they don't get damaged or screwed up. But yeah, have a couple of friends who worked over there in Japan in the anime fields, painting cells and making cells and doing things, and yeah, this is taking forever to do. So Brent, you have spoiled me here. I've gotten all used to the speed of my SSD that when I'm out actually on my platter drives, I'm like, gosh, this is taking forever. It's going to take another like 40 seconds. Anyway, I should probably transfer everything to SSDs at some point. Oh, I had seen something that I thought was fascinating. Changing subjects temporarily. I'll come back to anime in a minute. I had seen a dock for SSDs, which I thought was fascinating, because then the idea is that you can have a 1 terabyte SSD and you just dock it, copy everything to it, then pull it off the dock and set it on the shelf, and as an excellent backup. What's the yeah, cells. I make them over. Because we have everything. Yeah, they don't have 4 terabytes or 8 terabytes. But the question is, what's the lifespan of an SSD shelf? I turned
I thought your overlords finally allowed your programming to come out and everyone would realize that we're living a lie with you. That's when your robot voice comes out.
Well, maybe that's the problem.
Well,
So
the
yeah,
thing
some
is,
user, I have issues.
you'll sit there and be talking, and then your voice also doesn't match sometimes too. So it's like, that's funny.
We actually, yeah, that's legitimately one of the things that we need to do at some point here. And Brent is not wrong here on this one. Is I want to move the router up here into this office so that I can have a Cat5 direct connection to my router, because it does.
Yeah.
It happens every day. Some signal interferes with my wireless. It happens every day. And the router right now, where the router is downstairs, and it's not cool. So you're right. It's one of the to-do list things, because it means running 70 ohm on the side outside of the house, and I need to figure out how to do that.
Mm.
Yeah, probably. I not 100% sure whether the dock looks like a USB dock to me. That's what it really does look like. It looks like one of those USB docks. But it's interesting that it's. I mean, yeah, you're right. It probably should be. It'd be horrible transfer speeds if it wasn't connected directly into a satellite. So I'd copy all of my 1 terabyte of photos and things like that in 2 nights or something horrible. So you're absolutely correct. I think that'd be true. So 10 years under normal workloads, but the next question I've got then is, what if it's not being used at all? Like, what is the...
I know that I have, right now I have 1 terabyte one. Like, I have a thing that has 1 terabyte, and then I have another one that has 8 terabytes. And the 1 terabyte is a lot older.
Right.
And that one one's my old, that's my old memory card that we repurposed. And that one takes a few seconds to boot up, but that's because of the computer, not because of that. But I left it unattached to any computer, and it got worse. So now it takes about 15 minutes to load all the information out. Whereas my 8 terabyte one, and anything newer, takes maybe about a minute or so to load, and get acquainted to read. So, yeah. Yeah, I'm just saying that there's a difference between each one. One is a lot older than the other one, Brent. So,
well, we're talking about 2 different things, though, as well. I mean, I asked Brent specifically if I were to get a SSD dock, let's say, and then plug in an SSD, transfer all my data to it, unplug the SSD, put it in a little box, and sit it on a shelf. How long would it last? Would it last 10 years until it's internal? Does it have an internal battery, I guess is kind of what I'm looking for here. Like, does it need to constantly have power to keep all of the data? Or is it like a USB drive and it'll just sit over there forever, just kind of hanging? And it'll be permanently eternal. Because if that's the case, then maybe I would invest in an SSD dock and copy all of my stuff to the SSD dock, and then take my important stuff and go park it at my best friend's house, sit it on a shelf over at his house, so that if there's ever a house fire or whatever, all of my stuff isn't permanently lost.
Yeah, but like Brent's correct though. Like if you're not doing major things, and like if you're not saving to it every day, it lasts many years. Like that's what he's trying to get in his last comment.
I get that.
Yeah,
That's what I'm trying to explain, is that that's not what I'm after necessarily. What I'm looking for is, could you use it as long-term storage for data?
5 or 6 years according to his response.
According to what?
Brent said 10 years under normal workloads, 5 to 6 under extensive ones.
Okay.
But I think you would be the extensive one, like if you're constantly putting stuff on it.
That's not what I'm talking about.
Okay, I'm trying to follow, but yeah, I'm now confused.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What I'm trying to... So that's exactly what I was asking Brent. So, not long in comparison, because the SSD's lifespan is shorter, and there's a built-in battery.
Yeah.
So, in other words, at some point the battery will die, and then you lose all the information off of the hard drive. Gotcha. That's what I was trying to figure out. So it would be better for me to buy a platter drive, copy everything to the platter drive, and then go park the platter drive at my best friend's house on a shelf.
Yeah.
That was what I was after here, was, if that was the case, does that work that way, So. Oh, good. So my buddy gave me once a bunch of scans of cells. He had rescued a whole bunch of cells from the trash can, effectively, before he left Japan.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a mess of cells that he has that I have often thought, holy crap, I didn't realize he had that. That's a dirty pear cell. Speaking of ancient cells that you never knew existed.
That's another, dirty pear, man. That's. I remember when they did a revival of the manga. Like, the manga was written, and then they ended it, and then they did the anime, and then they came out with a new one after the anime reached the United States and became popular.
So I hate correcting. I hate correcting you. I'm so sorry, Pepper. I'm so sorry, because I hate being that guy.
What, the revival one?
Yeah, I do back up to Microsoft OneDrive. No, Dirty Pear was a novel. Dirty Pear was written in novel format. They took the novel and made the anime, the OAVs, and then they brought it over here, and it got popular here because of Antarctic Press, which is a local.
Yeah, I know.
Ben Dunn. Yeah, and Ben Dunn. Ben Dunn did it. And that's one of the reasons why. So there was no manga in Japan for Dirty Pear. That's why I was saying I hate being that guy. I so hate being that guy. I'm so sorry.
Well, I know that the one that was in comic book shops when I was in high school, because that was the...
Yeah, that's been done.
Possible. I knew it was done by an American artist and everything. I know that. And I know it was done with the aesthetics of trying to be as close to manga style as possible.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, I remember. I'm gonna look it up real quick because there was someone that showed me something during that time that did have Japanese script in it. So I'm gonna try to find it right now because I remember seeing this.
No, I would love it if you were to prove me wrong. But while I was in Japan, I picked up the novels. So I actually have the Dirty Pair novels downstairs.
Yeah. The one that I'm seeing is by Dark Horse here in the United States. But this one is not. But this is the newer one. This is replacing the old one.
Now, there may have been...
No, they've gone through several incarnations of Dirty Pair. I'm not like I'm just trying to remember the very first one that was shown.
It's the only reason that I know this. Well, I know this because, like I said, I was in the scene back in those days.
Yeah.
But it was. I wonder how much can I take in on these? I was in the scene in those days, and
no, I believe you. I'm just like I just remember, like me personally, I remember something. I remember this, because I'm pulling up a publisher from Eclipse Books right now, and it has the original 1980s Dirty Pair on it with the title Biohazard.
A Biohazard's been done.
Yeah. So I'm like,
that was the manga. That was when he finally brought manga, or when Antarctic Press was bringing it over here.
Yeah.
And then it went through Antarctic Press and Dark Horse. Dark Horse picked up Been Done.
Well, Dark Horse bought Antarctic Press.
Yeah.
To a certain degree, but this is a Eclipse Books, which is a publisher separate from all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know the faces of the ones done in the United States. I'm not denying that. But this one, let me speak it like that. Because Dark Horse has the Simhell, which I think they got manga
also been done.
cover art, but they did not do interiors, which is common in the United States. Yeah. So other than Biohazards, that's the only Biohazard's the only one like labeled translated. That's it.
Well, they weren't translated. Those were written in English.
Well, this one says translated, so we can report that. Okay.
Yeah, because Ben Dunn's stuff was English initial.
Well, this isn't.
Hang on, I'll be right back. Hang on here. I'll go get the novels.
Okay. Guys, stop looking! I have the answer! I figured it out!
Oh, right.
Guy, I have the answer. You don't need to look anymore.
Well, I did, but it's cool to find because here's the original Dirty Pair.
Yeah, I knew about those,
Yeah.
but what I think I probably saw was the Dojinshi.
Oh, Dojinshi. Yeah, now there's a difference between that.
Yeah, but like they use the aesthetic of the original series, which probably is why
Yeah. If you were looking at Dojin, that would make sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Now that was like I think that was like one of the first dojins that I did not actually get an unexpected X-rated viewing. Like there's some pretty interesting dojins,
Right.
especially for Sailor Moon.
Sailor Moon's creepy ass Dojin.
Yeah.
Always has been.
um, yeah. Also with like I think I picked one up thinking, oh well, this looks kind of cool. Let me, and then I was like, oh, it's a dojin. So like, oh okay, cool. I'll just like see what it is. And someone had translated it as well. So like, oh cool, I can actually read it. Because at the time I knew very little Japanese readability. I had no like absolutely no Japanese readability. I still don't have any. Um, and I was looking through, and it was that one, Fate's Day, like or Fate, where they have like they're running around. They get like magic users get paired up with like the guardian, and like they're battling for the for the Holy Grail, so that they can get a wish.
Right.
Um, and so like that's what it was based off of. And then like midway through, I realized, no, this is a porn. It's definitely a porn. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, you mean
It was definitely
the original like manga or the original novel.
yeah. Because like I'm like looking at the cover, and I remember, yeah, because this is the exact cover that, not the exact. I think this is the second one. I think I got the first one. Like someone got the first one and showed it to me during that time. So
I mean, there is some like cool art in here. It's really hard to see because my camera doesn't want to focus.
yeah,
There is art in the novel. I mean, it's just that it's so. I mean, we know what Yuri and Kay look like from
Yeah.
the novel, and we even know what their outfits look like because they're. It's again, it's hard to
Yeah.
see. But at least they're in there. They're normal. They're dirty pair esque. You know, so
yeah, because this,
Moogie is completely different. Oh my goodness, Moogie.
yeah, like Viz Comics came out with some too during that time when I was in high school, but they've remade and redone Dirty Pair as much as they've done the other one. It's I want to say that they've done it almost the same amount of times as Pretty Cure.
Mm-hmm.
Like Pretty Cure is like, yeah, no, this is like we'll just wait a few more years. They'll get another one that's ridiculous, if not more ridiculous than the previous one. Yeah, I don't know. There's like a lot of tropes in anime, so um, yeah, we'll leave it at that.
Anime has a long story that I mean it's an interesting and complicated story. It's long and arduous and it's fascinating. But again, back to the I feel like what I love to do in my life is tell stories. So I love the story of anime. I love the story of Star Trek. As a side note, Moogie, the cat in Dirty Pair, is now enshrined in Star Trek because they needed a name for the Ferengi's mom, and so they asked Mike Okuda, who was the graphic designer that did all of the graphics and the touch screens and everything, for a name, and he said Moogie from Dirty Pair because he's actually an anime fan. And so they then had Rom and Quark calling their mom Moogie,
Yeah,
which now is enshrined. And so it's fascinating, the connections between Star Trek and anime.
Well, I just have to say,
That is actually
Moogie was one tough
exactly what's happening.
Ferengi lady.
Do what?
Moogie was one tough Ferengi lady.
That's true. And some user, you are absolutely correct. That's the reason why the Dirty Pair belong to the 3WA, because that's the Worldwide Wrestling Association.
They actually did. Like, I remember someone telling me that they started out as like more of a wrestling like a wrestling story.
That's what it says right here on the back.
Yeah.
On the back of the novel, it says 19-year-old girls, Kato. 19-year-old girls and the beautiful Kay and the beautiful Yuri both belong to the special group, the 3WA. And the 3WA is based on... so it's just giving a little brief synopsis on here. But I know that, they were definitely inspired by the wrestlers.
Yeah. Because I know when it came over to the United States, anyone I knew who was fans of wrestling were fans of Dirty Pair.
Yeah.
I remember that sound.
He was like 30 years old when he wrote this, the author. So, but yeah, 3WA is unabashedly supposed to be the Worldwide Wrestling Association.
Mm-hmm.
They're not even apologizing for it. So, anyway, we're getting to the end of our show for today. User.
I just realized it's also, I think the modern take on her is more of like a female wrestler. I don't think the original version of her is a female wrestler. I think it's something far different and more erotic.
You mean Yuri and Kay?
No, She-Hulk.
She-Hulk, yeah.
Yeah. I think the original one was based off of like someone like more erotic origins. And then I think the modern one, I think they modeled her more off of like Ronda Rousey or someone like with her build.
Maybe, yeah. I could see that. I could definitely... Metropolis. Metropolis is awesome. Not going to even lie.
Strange thing is one of the videos, which is like one of the distributing companies for Disney, actually distributes a lot of manga. No, anime. Sorry, I should say. Mm-hmm. And if you actually look into Disney's animation studios that they own that are not under the Disney banner officially, but like they actually do support these studios, there's a great deal of them in Japan that like they definitely don't want people realizing what they do, but they definitely own them. It's a very weird thing. Like they own them by monetary means only. The studio does what it wants. But then
my system again. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I've locked up my system.
Because we're talking about Disney copyright infringement.
Right? I don't have control over my tablet again. Why are you on the wrong? That's really weird.
Yeah. There is. There's also old cartoons of Donald Duck becoming a supporter of Nazi in World War II as well.
Yeah, there's some wild stuff. Okay. Okay, so my monitor has gotten screwed up and it has messed up my camera. And taking my camera down and bringing my camera back has not changed anything. Wow. Talk about being borked. We are super borked over here. No, you can still hear me though, yeah?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Well, okay.
We're already over time, so
We're over time. Hey, some user, this is awesome. I hope you join us again.
yeah.
I will happily, so follow us, like and follow and subscribe and whatever else needs to happen here. And we will continue this on. You can follow, if you're on YouTube, then you're on my GS Davis art channel. But yeah, Quasar Art Collective covers all of this, but this stream comes out on my art channel all the time. So you can follow me anytime. Yeah, I don't know whether I will be on tonight, but Brian will likely be on. Can Art will likely be on tonight at 10 o'clock p.m. Mountain Time until midnight. I may join it later on, but I promised the family that I would have a family miniature painting night downstairs, so I promised that I would not abandon them. So we'll have to see. Often Can does broadcast over the weekend too, so he'll be broadcasting Saturday night and Sunday night. Saturday night is my D&D night, so I don't actually join the stream on Saturday night, but Sunday nights I sometimes do. Either way, next week we return back to the normal schedule. So, yeah, it was the Quasar Art Collective is just on Facebook. Actually, Brent just posted it, so I will post it over there too. Let me go ahead and fetch it. I seem to be really weirdly locked up as far as video goes. Let's see if Brent beats me to it. He may beat me to it, because it takes a long time for Facebook to load, especially when I'm locked up slightly. There we go. I'll get you that link here. So here's the link on Facebook. I just put it into there. So that's our link to Facebook. Well, it's okay. Then that's part of the problem. We don't actually have an external face for QaC yet. And that's just simply because
we all work.
Well, because who's going to pay for it? So
Yeah.
we
all work.
All that problem, which is who's going to pay for it. That's the important piece.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah. So you can follow us either at GS Davis Art. You can follow pepper.deluca on Insta, and that's Pepper. And the end credits of this show has everybody's art connections things. But the stream will always be here on my YouTube channel. It'll always be on my Twitch channel. And so you can follow me on Twitch or YouTube. You can also follow Can, who's also out there. So he's on just CAYEN. What's your URL channel, Pepper? Actually, his Insta is down there at the bottom, at pepper.deluca.
Yeah.
Don't follow Pepper DeLuca 1 because that's now a dead.
Well, I mean, I have ownership of it, but I can't log in because the hacker that got into it. But I do have a YouTube channel. Just look in Pepper DeLuca, and I'm usually the first one that comes up.
Yeah, but he doesn't yet. We haven't figured out how to get him to stream from this show to that channel yet. But that'll happen.
Well, there's a way to.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah, I'm on YouTube. Just look up Pepper DeLuca. As far as I'm aware of, I am the only Pepper DeLuca on there.
Yeah, but yeah, the streams will always be on my channel. They're also on Can, CAYEN. and he's not on YouTube that I'm aware of, but he is on Twitch. And KN Arts is out on Picardo. I seem to be the only one that has synchronized all of my things. Like my DeviantArt channel is GS Davis Art, and all of my social medias are now GS Davis Art. So, but everybody else is confused still, looking pointedly at my buddies who need to fix that. So, okay, well, thank you for joining us, Some User. Thank you for joining us, Brent, as usual. Appreciate it, and it's good to see. It's good to have you back, Pepper. It really is. I really did miss you.
So good.
You're not allowed to go on vacation anymore.
Now that I've done 2 appearances, you won't see me for weeks.
Well, and if you're in Sweden, we have you'll be well, for one. It's cool to have you coming in from. I usually ask where people are coming in from, so I'm sorry I didn't ask that because Sweden's cool, but Sweden means that you are on the. I don't have all of the time zones on here anymore. Oh, my new install. Dang it. We have a couple of guys that come in from Thailand. We have one person who sometimes comes in from Brazil. And so you're our first regular European. So that's cool. European represent. It's only really a big deal during the Olympics when we all have to start talking about what countries we're following. So. Anyway, we'll see you around, Some User. We'll see whether the night show or the day show is more convenient for you. But thank you for joining us. So, yeah, we get kind of, and it's funny because, of course, I support Japan. So it gets funnier because, of course, who's supporting what country where? It's like I support the U.S. and I support Japan in the Olympics because that's, of course, the nature of me. So there's that. Okay, I'm out of here. I'm going to go get lunch. I'll talk to you later, Pepper.
All right, bye.
Bye, Some User. Bye, Brent. See you later.